On the request of the Sheikh of Abu Dhabi, the engineering team was building a seashell-shaped building. In the very last phase of construction, a major problem arose. The steel frame of the building had bent down from one side, which meant that more of the structure had to be rebuilt than ordered. On one hand, the Formula One Grand Prix event was going to be held in Abu Dhabi, due to which very little time was left. On the other hand, the construction team was in a deadlock. Once again, welcome to Chili Crunch videos. Sheikh of Abu Dhabi, Khalifa bin Zayed Al Nahyan, who is the fourth richest person in the world in terms of wealth. Apart from the 98 billion oil barrel reserves, in addition to his family owns $830 billion. This was the reason that cities like Dubai often needed Sheikh Khalifa. You might already know that the world's tallest building was first named Burj Dubai, but then, during its construction, Dubai started facing a shortage of money, and its construction work had to be stopped. Sheikh of Abu Dhabi. To complete this building, Sheikh took financial help from Dubai, and due to this reason, its name was changed from Burj Dubai to Burj Khalifa. Sheikh Khalifa also had a dream to attract international tourists in Abu Dhabi. He wanted that, apart from oil, some means should be found to run the economy. He wanted to create a situation of international standard here on Al Raha Beach, which would have all the luxuries for beach resorts, shopping malls, parks, and entertainment, which Western tourists need. But to carry out this work, good investors were needed to attract investors, and to turn the dream of Al Raha Beach City into reality, Sheikh Khalifa planned to build the world's most unique building. This building was to be the headquarter of AlDar Properties, which is the development partner company of Abu Dhabi Comment. Sheikh wanted that the design of the building should be something that has not been built by anyone before, and its beauty should be such that the viewer keeps looking at it for hours. In that era, Abu Dhabi was a huge tourist destination. In Dubai, just a few kilometers away from Dhabi, where iconic buildings were being built one after the other, creating a completely unique and iconic design was full of difficulties. Finally, after months of thinking, an idea came up, and this idea was made by looking at a shell. The design was very simple, but it was very difficult to build it. There should be 25 floors, a circular sea building. Its size was to be bigger than the Statue of Liberty. Its curved glass outer shell was as big as 4 football fields. Building it on an artificial land above the sea was a task that no one had done in history. Normal square and rectangular skyscrapers keep roaming everywhere, but this was going to be a one of its kind, for which the engineers had to work with a new thinking. After getting the design approval from the Sheikh, the second option was to create artificial land on the construction site. The place where the AlDar headquarters was to be built, there was still sea present there. Yes, 26 feet deep sea was a problem for this work. So much sand was needed to fill the world's largest swimming pool city stars in Egypt from bottom to top. By putting 30 million cubic meters of sand, an artificial length was created here. But with this, another serious issue arose, and as soon as the sand of the artificial land was excavated, seawater started coming out from inside it. That is, one thing is certain, that if the foundation is built here in this condition, then the dream of this iconic building weighing millions of tons can turn into a full answer at any moment. Now, to deal with this issue, the engineers also decided to make a D-wall, which is also called a diaphragm wall. A wall of thick concrete was put in the sand up to 16 meters down so that the seawater could not enter inside this wall. After the construction of the wall, a thick concrete slab was put at its bottom so that the seawater could not enter the wall even from below. This stitching was so much that 2,000 trucks full of carbon were used to build it. Now it was the turn of the building, laying the foundation. Normally, for laying the foundation of megastructures, the piles of this foundation are driven up to the stones present inside the ground so that the strength of the building remains intact. But AlDar headquarters was much more difficult than other megastructures because firstly it was built right on the seashore, and secondly its shape was such that it could increase the extra pressure of the wind on it. For this reason, before laying the foundation piles, it was necessary to know how much the wind could affect the AlDar headquarters. For this, a model of the building was sent for wind tunnel test. Wind engineers apply wind pressure on the model. From different factors, and then with the help of complex calculations, the force applied on the building is estimated. Keeping this in mind, the engineers decided to install 400 steel piles on the AlDar headquarters, whereas 192 steel piles were installed in the foundation of the world's tallest building, Burj Khalifa. After removing the piles, if you were challenged to make a round shape like this, then you would have to do it. The shape of which is also like a shell. Every wall of this is covered with window panels, and a splendid view of the Persian Gulf can be seen from every corner inside it. There were two ways of doing this work. First, the whole building is cast from concrete and given a round shape, but a lot of time was required for this, and the construction team did not have that time. Yes, Abu Dhabi had to host its first Formula One Grand Prix to see which people from all over the world were going to come. The Sheikh wanted the AlDar headquarters to be ready before the Formula One event, for which he had given the construction team only 30 months to build this iconic building, out of which 5 months were already lost. That is why, to save time, it was decided that 2 concrete cores should be made, and prefabricated steel frames should be placed around it in such a way that the shape of a shell is formed. 2 cores of construction were made in single pieces, and slip from technique was used to take them to a height of 125 meters. Concrete was poured into a steel mold, and the rolls were rolled. It was slowly moved upwards. 2 cores were made from single pieces without joints. It took 6 months to make these courses, and surprisingly, 6,500 tons of steel was used. Now only 19 months were left in the deadline. In this time, steel frame had to be made around these cores. Glass cladding and then interior design work also had to be done, which took the most time. In a normal building, the steel frame is simple, but the steel frame that was to be installed in the AlDar headquarters had to be made in pieces with pinpoint accuracy and in curved shape that there was not even a 1mm flaw in it. An entire team of steel fabricators got busy in cutting 2,500 tons of steel and giving it a curved shape. Each frame weighed 30 tons, and about 100 such frames had to be made and joined to each other on the site, which was like solving a giant problem. Making this frame on one hand and transporting it from the factory to the site was also a very difficult task. The weight of one frame was equal to the near about 25 sedan cars. With the help of big cranes, the work of connecting them slowly started. This was a very time-consuming task. So now the construction team had to focus on the interior of the building as well as the glass panels. 25,000 glass panels were to be installed on this steel frame, whose total size was more than 52 basketball courts. These were not ordinary crushed buffaloes, but a triangular-shaped curved glass panel. The team that manufactured them set up a factory on the site to complete the work quickly. As the steel frame was being made, the glass installation team was also fitting the glass panels in it. Time was passing very fast. The engineering team was fighting a battle in which the fight was actually against time. On the other hand, 5 units washrooms were also to be built inside the AlDar headquarters. The engineering team found a very good solution for this. They decided to get prefabricated washrooms made, in which everything is pre-installed first. This was the plane that the prefabricated washroom units would eventually be simply lifted and sent down from the top of the building and placed at their respective places. This was a very good idea, but for that it was necessary that the design of the washroom modules be accepted by Sheikh. The Sheikh liked the idea very much, but he did not like the design of the washroom modules. Hence, the newly designed washroom models had to be made on order, which was going to take a lot of time. Due to this, 2 sections of the steel frame, which was now close to completion, had to be left incomplete, where the washroom modules would be sent down with the help of a crane. On one hand, the work of installing the glass panels was moving rapidly toward the destination. On the other hand, the engineering team was worried about the late delivery of the washroom units, because leaving 2 sections of the steel frame open for such a long time was also a kind of danger, which was going to fall on them in the next few days. 85 washroom units weighing 12 tons had now reached the site. After their installation, when the time came to close the 2 open sections of the steel frame, a very serious issue arose. A part of the steel frame had sunk 6 inches. This meant that many frames would have to be opened up till the bottom and then reinstalled after correcting them. But this was not possible under any circumstances, because the curved steel frame of AlDar headquarters, which had been in operation for only 8 months, was its real source of strength. The steel sections installed in it were putting the entire weight on the foundation below. If even one of these sections were removed, The foundation would not be able to bear the weight, and in such a situation, the entire building could tilt. This was such an issue that arose during the construction of the AlDar headquarters that it put the entire construction team in trouble. Finally, the steel engineer presented a solution. A load-bearing wall was built over the cores, and hydraulic jacks were installed on it. With the help of injections, both parts of the frames were lifted. The arches of the stuck steel frame were back in their position in no time. The loosened steel structure was also installed, and finally, the AlDar headquarters structure was completely completed. This was just a few weeks before the first Formula One event in Abu Dhabi. A beautiful structure, like a joint seashell, was completed after installing 25,000 glass panels. The engineering team completed this shape in the limited time of just 30 months and accomplished a feat that will always be remembered in history. We hope that you all will like and share this video of Chili Crunch channel. See you in the next amazing video.